Right now, we turn to Craig Snyder, your president and CEO of the World Affairs Council of Philadelphia. Craig, as you see it, the UN human rights vote in Geneva, very important?
No, I wouldn't say so. The UN Council on Human Rights includes China, it includes Cuba, Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, many nations that have very serious problems with human rights inside their own countries. So it's hardly a sort of jury of Israel's peers among democracies to be judging this situation. And I think their conclusions are pretty much foreordained at some point down the road to be anti-Israeli. That is sort of a long time hallmark of this particular organization.
Craig, I got that. That's your opinion, and a lot of Americans may feel that way about the Human Rights Council of the UN. But still, all around the world, it resonates. It is telling, isn't it, that a majority of the world's countries are not taking Israel's side in this?
Well, I think we've seen that in many instances over the entire 70-year existence of Israel. Look, Israel is not above the law, the international law of human rights. It's not above the law of war. It has legal and moral responsibilities as an occupying power. And the idea that its actions, even actions that are asserted to be in self-defense, can be questioned, that there can be inquiries about them, there's no doubt about that. This is just not a sort of honest broker tribunal. On the other hand, Israel does have to be mindful, no question, about what people call the optics. The world public opinion on its actions have to be taken into account as at least one factor in making these decisions as to what kind of force to use to respond to what's been going on in Gaza.
The United States has shown support to Israel all the way since President Trump took office. We can say another act of support could be a U.S. withdrawal from the United Nations, not Security Council, excuse me, the Human Rights Council in Geneva. Do you think that might happen? Is it even on the table?
I think it's a possibility. This president is certainly comfortable, with dramatic gestures that others would have seen as being beyond the pale, including the decision to move the embassy to Jerusalem, which had been talked about by many administrations, but not actually, undertaken. So I think it's a possibility that he would do something like that. The actions of Ambassador Haley in New York at the Security Council showed strong support for Israel in this situation.
Craig, to any extent, do you feel that after the opening of the new U.S. embassy in Jerusalem, but on the same day, Israeli troops killing 60 Palestinians on the Gaza frontier, even some Americans, including some liberal Jews, actually became more alienated from Israel this past Monday?
Yeah, there's no question about it. There are many in the diaspora in the United States and beyond that question Israel's use of force in this situation, and there are people who speak of being ashamed of what Israel has done. I would caution, though, that there is blame to go around in terms of the sort of the tragedy, the ongoing tragedy of Gaza. It includes the Egyptians, it includes Hamas, of course, and to a certain extent it includes Israel. But that's a backdrop that sets up this situation on the ground that the IDF has to deal with. And I would caution people who want to be sort of armchair generals and armchair soldiers as to what the alternatives might be to try to stop a potential of a large-scale breach of the border by people who have pledged themselves to kill and kidnap Israeli citizens.
We have the tyranny of the clock. Thank you, Craig.
It's a very difficult situation.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you. Craig Snyder, President and CEO of the World Affairs Council of Philadelphia. We appreciate your time.